Welcome to the Family Business Connection, a Prairie Family Business Association podcast, where we lift up the stories behind family businesses who thrive for generations. I'm your host, Stephanie Larscheid. On Family Business Connection, we explore the topics our family business members request most often: communication, culture, innovation, leadership, strategy, and succession, through hearing from the family business leaders who are solving problems day in and day out and building a legacy for their businesses and their families. In this episode, we welcome Lorie Pope, co-founder and co-president of Nexus Innovations, a management and technology solutions family business that empowers clients for success through strategic solutions. Though Nexus is an expert of innovation in the ever-changing technology industry, we're going to hear how they champion culture. In my conversation with Lorie, you'll hear how their technology business is all about relationships. Excellence in technology is the baseline. The defining component of Nexus is their culture. Lorie discusses how the culture trickles down from the owners to the employees, how it's taken shape as her own passion project, and how it affects their succession plan. Thanks for joining us in this episode of Family Business Connection. Before we get into my conversation with Lorie, here's a word from our sponsor, EOS Worldwide. We want to say a big thank you to this episode's sponsor, EOS Worldwide. EOS Worldwide has helped thousands of entrepreneurs all over the globe get everything they want from their business. The EOS model offers a proven system of simple and practical tools used by entrepreneurial leaders of companies with 10 to 250 employees to clarify, simplify, and achieve their visions for business success. For more information about EOS, visit eosworldwide.com. Welcome to our episode today with Lorie Pope, the co-founder of Nexus Innovations, headquartered in Bismarck, North Dakota. Welcome to our episode, Lorie.
Thank you. I feel very privileged to be here and excited. Love the organization and love being able to share from the heart about a family-owned business.
You have worked very hard over the years on your business, on the family aspect of the business, and a few key themes that we're really going to focus on today, including culture, communication, leadership. So give us a brief overview. What is Nexus? Who is Nexus?
All right. Nexus, we are a consulting company, and we empower clients for success, our core strategic value, through strategic solutions. We're a technology company. We were started 23 and a half years ago. We deliver innovative, creative ways of strategic planning. We do a lot of software development, SharePoint, integrated technologies. Our team is very highly efficient at what they do, proficient, certified, and so we become a go-to company in North Dakota for a lot of Microsoft solutions. So we are very passionate about what we do, but we don't look at it as just technology. What we always look at is what can we bring to empower people at these companies to be able to catch the vision for how they can keep on growing in their companies and do a lot of this work themselves. So we don't come in and just say, okay, now you're reliant on us. We help train them for what they're doing in their solutions.
And I know so much of what you do and who you are is about relationships. It's about people.
Yes.
And that is the Pope family. When I think about you, your husband, Bob, co-founders of the company, and your son, Jordan, who's a big piece of your leadership team, that's who you are. You want to be known for the relationships that you build within your employees, within your customers. That's what you're all about. So I'm really excited to talk about that topic today. So the two of you founded the company, you and Bob, and your son Jordan has been in the company for a number of years. And you also have 3 children who are not part of the day-to-day of the business. So I think that's important to frame your family aspect. And how many employees do you have today?
We have 24 employees.
24 employees.
And plus contractors. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, let's get into it. You are a technology business. That's what you do. That's your product and service that you offer. However, you are so much more than that. The relationships, the people, that's what you really like to talk about, that you are all about. How has culture been a defining component of your business?
Boy, that's a great question. First of all, I want to point out Bob, Jordan, and I are not technical. We hire people who are very, very technical. But one of the big things that we realized early on was that it doesn't matter what business you're in, if you're not able to connect to people and really relate, you're at a disadvantage. And so our really as owners, and our team feels the same way. We're in to do the best we can and to build relationships at the very same time. So for us, we come in and we bring change. Technology is change. And so therefore you have to know how to do that internally here as a company and also with clients. And change can be really scary. And so you can only do this if you're able to connect with people and know how to communicate. So one of the biggest things that we do is we've had to make sure that we have a great, great culture. Leading through change, that's the biggest key for a successful company. And it has to be built on trust. Leadership at all levels. So each one of our people here, if you want to go into leadership here at Nexus, everyone is told they are a leader, and everyone that goes into clients, displays being a leader. And that, I really believe, is one of our keys, but it's all built on trust. All built on trust. So if you look at, I love this saying, it's, if I can find it here, if you think you're too small to make a difference, you haven't spent a night with a mosquito. It's an African proverb. And so many people say, well, I'm not a leader. No, it's only those who are in positions of leadership. Our key here is we are all leaders, and we all know how to build trust and relationships. When you think about it, being able to connect with people are always asking three things. And it's, do you care about me? That's culture, relationships. They're asking, can you help me? Competency, values, and can I trust you? And that's character. And so that's one of the big things we do here is we do a lot of assessments to give people the tools they need to be able to know how to connect with others, be it DISCs or Working Genius, Robert Hartman assessment, things that give our people the skills and tools to be able to build those relationships, to help people go through change. And in that change, you have to, first of all, you have to prepare people for change, equip them, and then support them through that change of what technology is going to bring.
Along with that family aspect that really comes into your culture, I think that really is demonstrated through so many things that you, Bob, and Jordan do, Lorie. And when you think about the culture that you're building and the investment that you're making in people, to me, that's family. You care about them in their whole person, their family, what happens in work, what happens outside of work, how you can support them as growth as professionals and as people. And that's so impressive that you do that for your team and you build that culture within your employees. And that shows, because I know you've won several awards for being a top place to work. Speak to what that means to you.
Yes, and for 10 years in a row, we've been awarded one of the top 25 small businesses to work for in South Dakota, North Dakota, and part of Minnesota. But it's not driven by, it's our people. They're the ones who fill out, the assessment. And everybody here is very, very passionate about leadership and about especially culture. So we hit a crisis in 2011, 2012, and really had to face up to, we didn't have the greatest culture. And why? We didn't have the tools of knowing how to do that and what was needed. And so it was just by chance, we ended up going to a workshop through Prairie Family, and it was all about the 5 behaviors of a cohesive team, or I think they called it back then, 5 dysfunctions of a team. And went to that, and Bob and I just said, that's it. That's what's missing. So the book is by Patrick Lencioni. And so I ended up calling the table group, and I said, look, our company's in crisis as far as, trust, healthy, productive conflict. We don't know how to do it well. And so I said, it says on your website that you'll help people. And, so I said, at this point, we cannot, because to have them for a day was quite expensive for where we were at as a company. And so one of their consultants helped me put together a 2-day seminar for our people, and it instantly changed everything in our culture. And it's, you have to have trust as the foundational piece, and what does that mean? And then, because culture eats strategy for lunch, right? I mean, you can have the best strategy, but those companies that are built on trust are the ones who make the difference. And then healthy, productive conflict. What does that look like to communicate with that? And then from there, the commitment, accountability, and then you get the results that you need. And so for us, it was quite a journey, and we really focused on implementing all of that in our culture, and our people are extremely, extremely passionate about it. I mean, probably more passionate than me. And so that is one of the things that we do, and we are always training people in that and other things. We very, very much feel like a family here. Every week, almost every week on Wednesdays, we do a half-hour training with everyone. And it can be on growth mindset, how to communicate better. It can be on how to build trust. What does that look like? Leadership that is built on trust. And just many, many, many different topics, servant leadership, et cetera. And, we have added up, okay, these are not billable hours. And if you take that, times the weeks in a year and you put in what the billable rate is, et cetera, it's a big, big amount. But you know what? We would far more rather do this and then have a company that doesn't have that foundation. And you know what? Because we have these principles in place, we do save money above everything, because our team works better together. There's high trust. A low trust team is like, if you look at those rowing teams, they're rowing different directions. Do they ever go where they want to? A lot of times, no. You've got a team with high trust. You're able to function. Projects are done faster, more efficient, better results. People get along. They've done so many studies. You've got less sick. People are less sick. They're eager to come to work, and they're going to be at their best. Because at a company where there's low trust, 40% of their power, energy, brain-wise, it's actually protecting themselves. What's going to happen next? So I love to use this illustration. So if you've got a company that has low trust, well, like you've got to earn trust, or you've got a company, and again, this is Smart Trust, Stephen Covey's Smart Trust. We're going to give you that gift of trust. We're going to have your back. You're here. It's then your responsibility to keep that trust, but you have given them wings to go. So Stephanie, if I would say to you, hey, Stephanie, welcome, to Nexus today. And if we had low trust here, I might say to you, Stephanie, the person that was in the position you now have only lasted 2 months. They just weren't able to do it. Hope you do better. How would you feel?
I would feel nervous about my job.
Yes, but if I said, hey, it was great to interview you. We've done the reference checking. We've heard wonderful things about you. I know you are going to be a fantastic addition here to Nexus. Welcome. You'd have a whole different feeling, right?
Yes, very much so. Empowered, trusted, ready to go to work and be committed to the employer.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is what we're about. And that, giving people what they need as far as leadership, communication, helping them even with thinking. One of the big things with communication is And being strategic is how skilled is your thinking? Do you know about creative thinking, bottom line, focused, big picture, detailed, possibility thinking? We give people over and above what they need so they feel when they are doing their job, they have what it takes. We also do a lot of mentoring and professional development. So go ahead.
All this work that you continue to put in and invest in your people, I have to imagine that your retention rate is quite high within your employees. What does that look like for Nexus?
Yes, it is. It is very high. And, obviously there are times when it hasn't worked out, but yes, we have someone that is retiring from us. They haven't been there the whole time. We have someone that has been here for, let's see, we've been 24 and a half years. They've been here 23 years. So, and then we've got a lot that have been here. And of course, as we've grown, we've had a lot of different roles that have come up. But yes, it is, I like working here, but of course I would say that. But no, with people, that is one of the biggest things that they will say to people. I mean, we have people recruit for us. I mean, you know how it is, word of mouth. Mm-hmm. Someone that works there, they're the best recruiters, and they will say, I want to be here because of the culture.
When you talk about today's workforce environment and finding people, retaining people is one of the top challenges, you are solving that through so many systems that you've put in place over the last 13, 14 years. To create that family, that culture, that retention, that people want to be there at Nexus. They want to serve your purpose. They want to serve out your mission of helping clients succeed. That's so powerful. And it's a credit to the hard work that you've put in. And I love that you shared that example of the time allotted to culture each week and how it doesn't necessarily impact the bottom line, but it does so much.
Oh, huge.
I think that's a huge example for family businesses to hear. When you talk about culture and you talk about it trickling down from you, from Bob, from Jordan to employees, talk about what that looks like within your business.
Yes. Well, because everyone so buys into the culture, when they go out to a client, they have a great experience, and we have we've been told by quite a few organizations, hey, do you guys have some kind of same training for everybody? Because they all have great communication. They know how to go in and create trust. And they're like, how does this happen in your company? And we've been able to say, yes, it's through our employees. It's through our trainings. And Monday mornings, then we have our employees go ahead. Each one does some kind of training. And you think at our Monday morning meetings, we go over all our projects. Everybody meets together and we do another training, but it's by employees in maybe 15, 20 minutes. And you would think it would be all on technology, right? Well, it's most of the time not. Maybe it's on how to overcome anxiety. Maybe it's on how to grow and network with people. Maybe it's a tough experience in life. I remember somebody did why life is like a game of golf, and someone else did it, why is life like a game of chess? And there were a lot of great insights. So yes, it really does trickle down as far as people see that it's not just here, but Stephanie, we want to empower them to be the best spouses, parents, friends, family members, whatever, but to be successful in a well-rounded, balanced life.
Wow, Lorie, I love that example of how your Monday morning meetings carry out. And that's really your core values as well. That's who you are as people and as a company.
Yeah, that is so true. And so one of the things also that we did when we went through this training way back, and we've updated it, is, we have our core purpose, which I mentioned, and we have our core behavioral values, and we have them on posters in our office, so everybody knows it. Growth mindset, in the arena, servant leader, connector. Those are our core behavioral values, and there are illuminators underneath them. Strategic anchors for the company, relationships, vision, discernment, and results. And then we also have a poster with meeting guidelines and also one for communicating, so that, hey, kind honesty. Always look at the issue, not the person. Never be afraid to bring up your opinions, because you need to mine for information, and the best solution is where people will speak up, because some of those brainstorming ideas, they are the best, because you can take parts of it and then start to get with the vision, and then you can build alignment, and you can have the championing the execution part of it. So we regard everybody as equal here, and that they add a lot. The other thing that we also do is we ask that question, what's unique about you? Everybody has a leadership statement, they have their DISC profile, but when you think about it, what happens in the room when you walk in? What do your colleagues say? Oh, I wish Bob would have been at this meeting because he would have brought this. Or Jason would have brought this. He wasn't able to come. So the leadership statements reflect their uniqueness and how valued they are. And each of us needs to know, what do we bring to the game? The world can beat you down at times, and our company, we do refer to it as the Nexus family. We want it to be a place where we can grow and empower people, encourage them. Hey, we all have things that we have to grow in, and maybe sometimes there aren't those fun conversations, but you can do it in a way that really empowers people, and you can look at it in the right way. So let me just give an example. So we had to update our meeting guidelines, and we were talking about what's a way we could do this. One way is this. Oh, this is so embarrassing, team. Have you seen our meeting guidelines? They're from 10 years ago, and we need to add some new things so it shows what we're really like. Or you can go, wow, team, in the past 10 years, we have grown so much, and we are working now with such high-level executives in companies that we've realized we need to update our meeting guidelines. And when there's always a different way. The one pushes people down, the other empowers them to keep on growing. So
I love that example, and just the way that you do business, Bob, Jordan, and it just trickles down through everyone. And I know that you've been called on to help clients with their technology, but you've also assisted your clients with their culture. And I think that is so neat that your business has evolved and gained such a reputation for how you do business that your clients want you to teach them how you've gone about it.
That's been a really exciting part of the business. And a lot of it is with that change management, but you can go into a team, and if they don't have the trust, you got to start at the bottom and go, okay, how do we build this trust? What are things that are said or done that are trust builders or trust breakers, or conversation builders or conversation breakers? And giving people those tools, again, and just explaining, hey, you're going through change. So what is needed to minimize the effect on the team? And that is huge with it. So yes, I love working with teams, and some really fantastic turnarounds on things, or else just team building. Great team, they just want to go to a higher level. So yes, I'm passionate about that. And Jordan has sometimes helped me with some of it too, especially on the healthy, productive conflict, because we give the credit to God that we're all able to work together as a family, and then also how He has helped us build this company, because it is His company. But we have a unique relationship with our son in the way that we can talk things out. And we can throw it on the table. Maybe we don't always like what we hear, but we can work it out because we have things in place. Fun fact is, Patrick Lencioni, when he wrote the book, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, he actually wrote it first for families, for busy families, that they needed to have their core purpose, their values, and strategic anchors, and go forward. But it didn't sell a lot of books. People didn't catch it. And he realized, wait, this is really powerful for companies too. And so a lot of those values are, and our whole team helps set these, but are ones that we really believe in as a family. And so it's a great way to be able to communicate.
Another fun fact there is Patrick's son is now in his business with him. So he has himself created a family business. So there's a lot more to come from Patrick, the Lencioni family. But I think that's pretty cool. The next generation is there, and there's an impact being made. And they're working on their family business as well. Do you have a specific example, Lorie, of a defining culture moment that perhaps happened with a client or that you witnessed of one of your employees putting forth?
Well, it's probably the example that I gave you of when we realized that we were not a culture that we needed to be. And so seeing how it was impacting clients, and we had something happen with a client where we lost a really big project. And it had to do partly with our culture. And so that was a defining moment where we need to change, and we were having people quit because they didn't feel at home with the culture. And so we knew we had to make that change. And making that change was not, well, actually it was pretty easy because the other way was no fun. They say the pain of change goes away when the pain of staying where you are is greater than the change. And so putting that in place was just so impactful. So yes, I would say that losing that client, that was huge. And then clients now even seeking us out and going, hey, what do you do at Nexus as far as for culture? And our team will share with them, and they're very passionate also. And I have others. I always say you're a strong culture if you're always training up other leaders. I'm a big fan of John Maxwell. Actually went through his training for executive coaching, but the level 5 leaders. And so always growing leaders to be able to do what you do and bring it into the next generation.
That's a great example, especially when it relates to family business and what you're trying to accomplish. And speaking of the family business aspect of your business, Lorie, you and Bob as co-founders, you're working on your succession plan and transitioning things fully to Jordan. And Bob has stepped away mostly from the day-to-day. And I understand he's very happy with where he's at in terms of his transition. You've chosen to stay in the day-to-day. And I think a large part of that is this culture work that you're doing, that you're so drawn to and you feel called to.
Yes, it is. And Bob is probably a quarter to half time. And yes, he's really happy, but he is kind of like the Nexus ambassador, if you want to put it that way. So it's been great. But yes, for myself, I have felt that I wanted to stay involved for a while. I'm also working on transition in, a couple of years, but putting things in place. But feeling like I'm called to, I do a lot of mentoring coaching plus this. And so really wanting to pass the baton on also with the company. Jordan, he's doing a fantastic job in what he's doing, but we're seeing that we need more people that can help out with that. So yeah, succession is kind of a strange thing. It's been your baby for so long, but then trusting that the right people, you'll get them in place, and you are getting them in place, and then that the work that we've done, that we can put it in place and that it can be lasting. It's not just dependent on a person, but the principles will live on through the team.
You're doing it the right way, Lorie. And it may end up taking a couple people to replace Bob's role, your role. And we find that with family businesses. It's not all right, a leader, a co-founder is stepping away, let's replace them. Well, it might take 2 or 3 people, or those roles may need to be divided among a couple of key people within the family business. It's so important to play out those roles like you mentioned. It's not just replacing people for people, it's replacing their talents, their abilities, and making sure that fits with where the business plan is going. So great job on that. We've moved to the part of the
thank you.
conversation where we're going to talk about our Family Business 5. And we have 5 key questions where we will ask you that we ask all of our podcast guests. So to start us off, what's a book that has greatly influenced your life?
Growth Mindset. And can I add another? All of these will probably have two. The Growth Mindset book is absolutely fantastic. It's required reading. Everybody here reads it because are you fixed mindset or are you a growth mindset? Meaning fixed is you can never get above it. Growth is, hey, this just showed me that I need to try something else. I can reroute. Siri never yells at you and says, you idiot, I will never help you find another location. But Siri always says, reroute. So that's here. And then the 5 behaviors of a cohesive team.
I assume that would be on your list.
Yes, definitely.
Through your association and involvement with Prairie Family Business Association, what program or experience has provided the most value to you?
It was the workshop at Starion in 2011, December, of the 5 behaviors of a dysfunctional team. That was so pivotal. So many other things, but also we worked with Beth Adamson right before that too. And so yes, love the organization.
It's so neat when you can just pick out that program, that experience. You could name the month, you could name the year, and how that shaped and influenced you, your family, and your business since that time. That's pretty incredible. And you've always continued to show up over these 13 years. And I appreciate that about you and your family, Lorie. You don't know what you don't know. You're continuous learners. You know that there's more that you need to know to make your family business last 50 or 100 years. And you're putting in the work to make that happen.
Well, thank you. And I really want to give you credit too for how you have really pushed forward Prairie Family Business Association with the way you provide so many training and teaching tools. You have no idea how much we appreciate that.
Well, we can all learn from each other, and there will be a lot of people learning from this episode too, Lorie. Looking back on Nexus Innovations, what do you most attribute your success to, or what are you most proud of?
That was kind of a hard question in some ways, but first of all, Bob and I had to learn to work together as a married couple. And we really, that's why when we adopted a lot of these things and before, we really grew as a couple. So I am very proud of us, of how we've grown together as a team with God's, help, with the hope, resilience, and courage, and pressing forward. The culture, that was a complete turnaround. And an amazing thing that happened. And then, just plain hard work, how we've just didn't take a no for an answer, but kept going.
That's a great example. It's not to be taken lightly that it's not always easy to show up every day and work with the person that you spend every waking moment with and you go home to at night. And it does take a lot of hard work. You got to work on it. And you guys have done that.
And we love working with each other. We're both in different areas, and it's been truly a privilege. Yeah.
You're a great team.
Well, we love it. We love our team here too. So that's, just proud of how things have worked out and people have just stepped up. So proud of our team.
Speaking of people, who's someone who's been influential from outside your family business and they've been instrumental to your success?
Okay, they actually are family members, but they are outside of the family business. And so my dad and mom were on our advisory board for years. And we came to a time in 2005 when we thought the company was going to go under. And my dad had worked with Norwest, which became Wells Fargo. And he, it was actually, we didn't know, we were ready to shut everything down because we weren't going to make it. And my dad prayed and he said, nope, I think you're supposed to go for broke. And I thought, we're already broke. And he said, nope, you need to hang in there. And it was that next 2 months that everything turned around. There would be no Nexus today if my dad had not said, get going. You're going to make it. Just try again.
Wow. I did not know that piece of your story. That is really inspiring.
Yeah, it was that close. But
you just needed that champion to push you forward, someone who believed in you. And that's what your dad did for you.
He did. And he spent then 10 years mentoring us on a lot of different things. And with the banking experience, it was terrific.
That's great. Yeah. Wonderful. The next question goes right into that same line of thinking. What's a lesson learned from a family member that's really stuck with you?
Well, and family member, and I didn't know if you were saying it, that worked at the company, but actually I'm going to bring out my mom. And my parents are very, very strong with being entrepreneurial, both grew up on the farm, and both really believed in my husband and I that we could do this. And one of her favorite sayings was, make lemonade out of lemons. In the midst of tough situations, there are always opportunities. Look for them. Where do you need to make the lemonade? Where can you make the lemonade? And who needs to hear your voice today of encouragement and hope? And so we live that. That's what we pass down to our company, everybody here too. Make lemonade out of lemons and look for opportunities. If something didn't work, that doesn't mean it's a no, but get going, go back to the table, and how can you keep going? My mom grew up they both did the Great Depression, and so she tells a story of how there had been hail, they went outside, and the chickens and the turkeys dead, and that was it. They were going to have to go live with relatives in Minnesota for the winter and come back again to their homestead. And her mom said, okay, get a bucket, pick up the hail. We've got cream. We're going to make ice cream. And that was the attitude that's been passed down generation to generation. Look for what God can help you do. Take the next step.
I love that example. That's a really great example of who you are as a family and the influence that you all have on each other, the accepting of that influence and how you're carrying out your daily work. Thank you so much, Lorie. This has been a wonderful conversation about culture, about people, and it's what our families are looking for. This is one of the top topics that they want to know. How can they have that culture? How can they have that culture that lasts through generations? And you and Bob and Jordan are doing it. So thank you for sharing your story.
Well, thank you, Stephanie, for this opportunity. Really appreciate it. Any other way I can help, let me know, because we're passionate about it.
Thank you so much, Lorie. And on that note, we've reached the end of the episode. Thank you to Lorie Pope for sharing her experiences guiding the culture of an innovative family business. As you heard Lorie illuminate, culture is essential to family business success. And though your employees play a pivotal role in how the culture evolves, it's the family's role to shape the culture of the organization. Do you want to learn how you can tangibly influence your family business's culture? Join an affinity peer group. Lorie's son and second-generation leader, Jordan Pope, has been part of his group for several years, and it's helped him grow as a leader and help Nexus's culture grow. Affinity peer groups, or APGs, are small, highly confidential discussion groups that meet regularly, allowing members to share experiences and learn from each other. Through confidential discussion led by trained facilitators, you can hear how other family businesses have tackled challenges, including culture challenges, like how to improve employee retention and how the upcoming generation can gain employees' trust. Learn more about APGs and how you could benefit from joining your peers at the link in the show notes. Thanks again for joining us today. Our inaugural season of the Family Business Connection will be 10 episodes featuring stories of all kinds of family business leaders. Be sure to follow or subscribe to the show wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you.